Welcome back to the class. On the previous class, we read about different types of alluvial soil. Hope that video was useful to you. Today we will study about two concepts. One is which soils are good for dry farming and why. Several times this type of questions asked. This answer we will discuss today. Another one, the leaching and laterite soil. Through leaching, laterite soil is formed and the characteristics of laterite soil depend on leaching process. So these two things we will be discussing on today's videos. So let us start. First one question is which soils are good for dry farming. So for that we need to know what is dry farming. Dry farming is a type of farming technology which is being followed in the areas which receives very low rainfall or where there is scarcity of water. Okay, there mainly drought resistant crops are being grown like millets, few oilseeds like sunflower, sesame, jowar, bajra. These type of crops are mainly grown which can survive in the less water. Okay, now sometimes questions are asked which soils are good for dry farming. In your syllabus there are two soils which are good for dry farming. One is the red soil, another one is the black soil. Now why red soil is good for dry farming? Red soil is found in the poor rainfall region, and I told dry farming is also practiced in the poor rainfall region where there is scarcity of water. Red soil is found in the poor rainfall. These are formed in poor rainfall region. Now why it is good for dry farming then? It is good for dry farming because it is porous in nature and it can allow the water to percolate easily, and also the air circulation process. It helps in air circulation process. So it has a good drainage process and it has a good aeration process too. So because of these three reasons, that it is formed in poor rainfall region, it is porous, so it is good for, it has a good drainage and aeration capacity. Because of these three reasons, red soil is good for dry farming. Clear? Keep this in mind. Another one is the black soil. Now why black soil is good for dry farming? Now this black soil, where it is found, you can understand where it is found. It is found in the Deccan Plateau region. Now Deccan Plateau region is where? It is in rain shadow zone, so it receives very less rainfall, medium or moderate rainfall. So now why black soil is good for dry farming then? Now black soil has a good clay content. Okay, as it has clay content, it can retain moisture for a long period of time. It can absorb moisture and can retain it for a long period of time. So what happens? When these crops are being grown and when the rainfall is very less, that time the stored water is there in the soil, so it will help the crops to grow during dry periods also. So this is called only dry farming. So two soils are responsible, red soil, black soil, both are responsible for dry farming, but the reasons are different. In case of red soil, good drainage, aeration, this is the main important point. And in case of black soil, the main reason is clay structure and good water retentiveness, high water retentiveness. Okay, so this question, I hope this is clear. Now the second one is the leaching process. Now leaching, what is this leaching process and why it is responsible for the formation of laterite soil? What is the connection between them? We need to know. Now before that we need to know where laterite soil is found. Laterite soil is found in the areas of high rainfall, where the area receives very high rainfall, tropical hot and humid type of environment, and there will be alternative wet and dry periods. So what will happen, and high temperature also. So under these circumstances, laterite soil is formed. Now what happens, as there is high rainfall, very high rainfall, always rainfall happens, very high rainfall happens. It is responsible for the percolation of the basic nutrients, specifically lime, silica, from the above layer or the A layer of the soil towards means downward. So this basic nutrients will be washed out from the soil profile and makes the top soil acidic. So basic nutrients were there, and due to heavy rainfall, those nutrients are getting percolated down and can be washed out from the soil profile. So as a result, what will happen, the layer, means this A layer will become, or the top layer will become acidic. Okay, so this percolation process through which the basic nutrients are washed out due to heavy rainfall from the soil profile, that process is called leaching process. And through leaching process, laterite soil becomes acidic in nature, and acidic soil is not good for cultivation. So it makes the soil infertile. Okay, so this is the leaching process. This is also called desilication process, because through this process, the two nutrients, specifically silica and lime, these are washed out. That's why this is called desilication process, and mainly aluminium oxide will be deposited on the top layer, so which makes the soil acidic in nature and infertile in nature. Okay, so this is the leaching process. And what is the connection between leaching and laterite soil? I tried to make a clear-cut video on it. So you all hope it will be useful to you all. Thank you.